Okay, so the next batches of EZAs for the 10th anniversary have been announced here. So what we're going to be doing today is talking about them in specific. This is going to be the Saiyan Saga KAIOKEN Goku as well as the Tech Great 8 Vegeta. Now, again, this is going to be kind of the raw reaction here to reading the kits. I saw that they were announced and I didn't want to spoil myself. Quickly, like within like the 5-minute buzz, I saw something about Grade 8 Vegeta having some damage reduction. So that's about all I've seen so far, but let's go ahead and get started. So as you guys know, the normal kind of process here with these Extreme Z Awakenings, we've got right here some fun stuff with, doing all this. We don't really need to talk about that. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, this guy is an all-out struggle or final trump card category 170 with key 4. I suppose that's not too bad for a gold coin LR. Gold coin LRs going up to 170. It doesn't hurt, right? I don't think that that's like necessarily a problem, but again, you're probably not going to be running this guy as a leader anyway. So not really a huge deal here. But let's go ahead and move along. You guys know how the link sets work, but the passive skill, this is where things do get a little bit important. The intro effect here, we have key 3 and attack plus 100%. And this is going to be when there's an enemy whose name includes Vegeta. So where is this going to be helpful? During the Dragon Ball Z edition of the Battle Hardened Formidable Foes event. That's going to be very helpful, as well as the Saiyan Saga Goku Story Red Zone, where you do fight against a Vegeta enemy. So key 3 and attack plus 100% I don't think is going to be like the end all be all for this character, but when we look at this here, I do see a couple things that I do like already. So starting at the start of turn here, we have attack and defense plus 200% with a great chance of performing a critical hit, randomly changing key spheres of a certain type STR excluded to STR key spheres, and receives an additional key plus 2 per STR key sphere obtained. So that's very nice, obviously getting all that extra key with STR key spheres, that's nice. And then for 7 turns from the character's entry turn, key plus 10 and defense plus 100%. So we are already up to 13 key with the entrance buff if we do end up getting that, but we do always have 10 key for 7 turns. We don't need the intro buff whatsoever for that. And then when we are attacking with 12 or more key, we are going to be getting attack and defense plus 159%. And then we are going to be getting an additional 159% for the, why can't I talk all of a sudden, but the 18 or more key. So in total, that's going to be attack 318%. I believe if that is how it's going to work, right, when we have attack with 18 or more key. And then here's something that is going to be pretty big for every STR key sphere obtained. We are going to be able to get 4 damage reduction percentage per key sphere that is STR. So in theory, if we were to get 7 of those, we would have 28% damage reduction, which isn't like great, but it's not horrible, right? And then if we have a 24 key, we are going to be performing a critical hit. So a lot to digest there, right? I think with the orb changing, the extra damage reduction is going to be something that's going to be pretty big for us, right? Going to be very helpful, making this character a little bit more defensive, getting the extra defense on the 12 or more key. And we're basically getting 12 key for free as we have 7 turns of key plus 10 to start off, right? So that's going to be very nice, but let's go to the next image here and check out what we have. And these are going to be the super attack effects, and there's going to be one more image here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this here. So we have the super attack effect. I don't know why these images, I think this is just like the new, but we have greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn and causes mega colossal damage to the enemy. And that is going to be the first attack, right? Yes, because it's greatly raises. So the 12 key, we are going to be getting attack and defense for 1 turn and causing mega colossal damage to the enemy. Very nice, right? Again, raising the attack and defense even further. And then on top of that, we're going to have the 18 key super attack, which we're going to be getting more often than not. And that is going to be massively raises attack and defense. That is 100% attack and defense for 4 turns and causes mega colossal damage to the enemy while sacrificing 4% HP. So I don't love that we have to sacrifice HP, but at the most, at least this is 4%. So this is not going to be like the be all end all here for this character where it's like, oh, you have to do this attack here. Like that 4% HP is going to shred you, right? But I think to kind of play devil's advocate there, when these teams do have, 800, 900,000 HP, that's going to be a little bit more than I would prefer to take, because I would just rather not take any damage at all on doing a super attack, right? So I guess that is interesting to note, and I am thinking that this character has some potential here, but I'm not seeing anything that like jumps way off the page where like this guy's just all of a sudden going to become like a crazy tank. But if we do get like crazy situations with the STR orb changing, I think that there is a lot of potential with this character where he could potentially be in situations where you're going to be seeing like 10 orbs and then that's 40% damage reduction, right? What I'm not seeing here anywhere is like guard or anything like that, where it's just going to be pure damage reduction. So as a slot 2 character with the massive and the great raise, hopefully you would want to get both of these effects off and get all of as many defensive raises that you can on top of the damage reduction that you are going to be seeing with the super attack effects, right? With the damage reduction per orb that you're going to be obtaining. So very nice stuff there with this KAIOKEN Goku. I think that like with the teams that he's on, so if we go back to his categories, right? I think that so the categories aren't going to be on this image here, but let me just pull him up real quick and we can look at what like his impact would be. So one thing that's good about this KAIOKEN Goku is I believe he is on a ton of teams. Yeah, that's 15 teams right there. So very nice and a lot of help for teams that potentially could use like extra characters, right? Like great, the Vegeta team just got another 15 slot 2 character, right? Because I don't see any situation where unless you're getting, like I said, you're getting like 20 orbs and you're getting 80% damage reduction, you're probably not going to be tossing this guy into slot 1. So that's not going to be ideal. But again, I don't foresee this character being like too bad, but I don't see anything here where I'm like reading this and it's just like, oh, I just don't know ball, right? Like it's like the extra key helps, right? You're going to constantly be seeing this guy at 24 key. You're going to be having a decent amount of damage reduction based on the amount of orbs you have. I would have to see what the average would be with his changing, and then we could kind of like average out what his damage reduction per turn would be. So I don't know. I think when you compare this to like a Super Easy A like Buhan, or even the Super Easy A for Gohan, or even like modern LR Easy A's like Angel Vegeta, I don't think KAIOKEN Goku is like jumping off the page to me as something like super crazy, but we'll have to wait and see when he's in game, when the data download hits and stuff like that, seeing potentially what his attack stats could go up to. So that's Goku. Let's move on to Vegeta here. Now Vegeta is going to be a 2-part kit, but thankfully the second part is going to be pretty simple. So first and foremost, like I said, you know, Extreme Z Awaken him, we do all that fun stuff. But if we go over here, we can take a look and see what he is doing. So Inhuman Deeds or Giant Ape Power, 170% as well as Key 4. Well, unfortunately for you, sir, there is a 220% Giant Ape Power and Inhuman Deeds like in 2024 heading into 2025, the Inhuman Deeds category just got like spammed with leaders. It was like 2 or 3 of them just back to back, right? So not the most ideal thing in the world. Also, it's like kind of whatever, right? So go in here, you know, Key 4, 170. I'm never really going to be complaining about that. When it comes to links, I don't love, I'm pretty sure like Transform and over 9,000 we know is like, that's not a link, right? So Saiyan Warrior Race, Royal Lineage, Saiyan Royal Legendary Power, those are all fine, but over 9,000 Transform and Shattering the Limit are not like ideal links for modern LRs, especially on like the Pure Saiyans team, because this is going to be, you know, loaded up with Fierce Battle and stuff like that. So it's going to not really be exactly what you were looking for. But let's go ahead and look at something that we have right here. So going on to the passive skill here, we have activates the entrance animation when there's an enemy named Goku. Now, thinking about Goku, this is going to be a little bit trickier. I think that the kind of direct comparison just goes right back to what we were talking about a few moments ago, where we go to the Saiyan Saga 4 Vegeta story and we are fighting a Goku. Because really, like, fights against Gokus themselves are not like too common in this game, because most of these fights are against like extreme class bosses and stuff like that. So I'm not really expecting there to be like too much for this guy in terms of like where you're going to be fighting Gokus. But let's go ahead and look at his basic effects in passive. So we have Key +3 and Attack +100 on the entrance buff, like the intro buff. Again, something you don't need, but it helps. But Key 3, Attack and Defense +200% at the start of turn. We have damage reduction of 20% innately, and then receives an additional Key +1 per Key Sphere obtained. That's always nice. It's easier to get your 18 Key. And then we have Permanent Guard, so that does help. Then when attacking with 12 or more Key, it's sort of the same thing, right? Where this guy is going to be the inverse of Goku, where we're going to get extra defensive effects on the 18 Key. So I do like that a little bit more than what we have for Goku. And then after Guard is activated, we're going to get additional attack and defense for 3 turns. So that's also going to transfer into the next time that you see him. And then on top of that, if we can potentially use this guy in slot 1, we are going to have defense 60%, and then we are going on top of that going to have a damage reduction rate of 40. So guard and 60% damage reduction, I do think that that is a good start. Now, If we put this guy in the second or the third attacker in a turn, we have attack plus 60%, launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack, and then if we do get 24 ki, we are effective against all types. So if you did do a crit build, that is a bit unfortunate. But kind of moving on here to our super attack effects, on the 12 ki, we have greatly raises attack and raises defense, greatly stacks attack, and raises defense for 1 turn, as well as has colossal damage on the 12 ki. And then if we go to the 18 ki, we have greatly raises defense for 1 turn and causes mega colossal damage to all enemies. So as you guys know, the 18 ki is an AoE with this character, so it doesn't hurt to have it, but it's not like the biggest deal in the world. Multiple enemy fights are not like, you know, the big meta right now, but greatly raising attack, stacking that, they're going to get more and more damage as the fight goes on. And we're also going to have slot 1 potential here with 60% damage reduction and guard. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the Great Ape version of this here. And we have, this should be pretty quick, right? Just guaranteed crit, 318% ki 6, right? When we have our passive skill. And then we go over here to the super attack effects. We have greatly raised attack temporarily and causes destructive damage. And then if we go over here, we have massively raises attack temporarily and causes destructive damage. So there you guys have it. The EZAs for Goku and Vegeta. Let me know down below what you guys think. I'm thinking that Vegeta is looking better here on paper, but again, we'll have to see how they look in game to sort of get the final verdict on that. So let me know down below what you guys think of these 2 EZAs incoming to the game. Still waiting on the year 7s. I think we'll be breaking them down very soon, but not tonight. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.